Okay, we're going to start the festivities now. We've got Ali Spears and Peyton Turner who will come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. And then it will be our honor to hear our State Bar President, Lisa Tatum from San Antonio. Take it away, kids.
Good morning. It is truly an honor to have you here today. I'm very excited to be a part of your day and to celebrate each and every one of you. I want to take a little bit of time and remind those of you who may not have been here, tell you that every year we get together with this celebration, and we get together all across the country gathering in the purpose of recognizing Law Day. We want to take time out and acknowledge that we have the privilege of living in a free society. And under the rule of law, and because of the rule of law, we have freedoms that are ensured from high rulers. We have safeguards for injustice, which means that you and I, your neighbor, and somebody that you don't even know have the opportunity to seek justice in the system, whether you are small, young, old, poor, extremely wealthy. So we look at it as the ways that we take in the rule of law to have a safe and fair playing field. So that framework of fair play is why we're here today. Now, 50 years ago, and I know some of you, can you think about how long 50 years ago? 50 years ago is a long time. It's a long time. But 50 years ago, there were many people who weren't celebrating Law Day. There were people who looked like me, African Americans, and other minorities who were not entitled to have the benefit that you would celebrate Law Day for. And it's because of some brave people who took to looking to make sure that we all have justice that has changed. And in 1964, our country had some pivotal changes in its rule of law. And because of that, people who looked like me could go now into any motel. They could sit at the lunch counter in the front of the restaurant instead of having to go to the back of the stairs in a movie theater and watch in the back and never get to interact with anybody else. They got a chance now to do what we all do here together today, which is what really makes law so special, is that it helps enable us to do the things that make us a better society, get to know one another, and be able to share experiences. Now, President Johnson did something that was probably one of the most powerful and influential things that could be done in our history. And that was the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And in all of that, an interesting tidbit is that he also, in his desire to be a leader and set an example, saw to it that the Texas State Bar also followed integration at the same time, leading the way in the face of the lawyers as well. So his activity, his encouragement, the support that came with President Johnson's movement led to opportunities that otherwise might not have been seen. And opportunities, for example, for those of you who may have heard in the news about the Civil Rights Summit here in Austin, and even President Obama commented on this. If it weren't for those acts, if it weren't for our progress and the changes in the rule of law, he would not be president. Similarly, I'm the first African American president for the State Bar of Texas. It might not have been an opportunity for me either. Now it's an opportunity for all of you. I want to take a moment and kind of reflect on why this is so great and why this is so important. Now, I just told you how 50 years ago things weren't necessarily the same for everybody. Now we've been living in an era where everybody is being treated more equally, if not fully equally, as we always progress to improve and be better. But lately, in the last year, there have been some other changes that have come down by decisions in the United States Supreme Court. Because of that, the Voting Rights Act of 1964 that President Johnson signed has been struck down. It doesn't exist anymore to help preserve and to keep and ensure that there's no discrimination in the voting process. 30 states in the state of Texas now is included require some form of identification to take with you in order to vote. So I ask that as we look at the 50 years past, we look at what we're doing going forward, that we reflect, as President Bill Silkenet has said from the ABA, the American Bar Association, he asks us and charges us, he says, take some time to reflect on some of the highest importance of things like voting and what it means to have access to the ballot box. And take some time to reflect, I'm going to read this as directly as I can, on the challenges that we face to make sure that all Americans have a chance to participate equally in civics rights and in civic life. So, what does that mean for you? What can you do sitting here as a student? And what can you and your families do? Well, let me suggest one thing to you that I think is kind of fun. One of the projects that we have at the State Bar, something that I was inspired by because both my parents are teachers, well, retired teachers. My dad taught math and science. My mother taught English and history. So I never caught a break. Never caught a break. And I honestly felt that Saturdays you got up in the morning and you went to the library and you studied, and at lunch you could go to lunch, and then maybe after that you went to a movie. That's how my Saturdays were. It wasn't until the 8th grade that I learned that not everybody went to the library on Saturday morning. But I share that because that's where this idea came from. We have this wonderful program called I Was the First Vote for Me. And it has animated characters that you can look at and review and learn about some of the historical figures who've really made a difference in our society. Susan B. Anthony, Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez, 22 different people that we've put together for you. And in looking at them, they're not only just fun and enjoyable, at least for me anyway. I encourage you to check them out, but they also will prepare you for the TEKS test, because they have all the information that you'll be required to be tested on. So if you have a chance, think about all those wonderful things that you can do to be the first to accomplish something, to ensure that everybody has equal opportunities and equal say and fair play in our society. And with that, I'm giving you your time back, because we decided to have this day because it was all about you. It was all about you because you all are engaged in civics activity, and we want to celebrate the successful things that you all have done. Congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you, Lisa. Welcome to Law Day. I'm very excited to be here representing the Texas Young Lawyers Association as we honor the 2014 Law Day contest winners. I'm very impressed by all of the talent and creativity that went into all of the entries, the essays, the posters, and the photographs that we received from all the participants. And the entries are truly amazing, and I hope each and every one of you have the opportunity to go around and look at all the entries that we have around the room to see all of the wonderful things that we received. At this time, when I call your name, if you will please come forward to receive your award, and we'll have a picture taken whenever we call your name. So let's get right to the winners. In the poster contest for the kindergarten to second grade age group category, we have third place goes to Genesis Morrell. And we have second place goes to Anastasia Berdzinski.
I gotta be here.
Congratulations. First place goes to Grace Canales. Next, we have the 3rd to 5th grade age group, and we have third place goes to Raul Avalos.
Wonderful.
Second place goes to Celeste Matayer. And first place goes to Rebecca Canales. Our next age group is 6th to 8th grade. Third place goes to Diana Meza. Second place goes to Brittany Tang. And first place goes to Braden Dixon. Our next age group is 9th through 12th grade, and third place goes to Kaylee Manzano. Second place goes to Kelsey Lemons. And first place goes to Adeline Cifuentes. Okay, and we have one of our award recipients for the 3rd to 5th grade age group, Celeste Matayer, who's here now, who got second place. So we'll ask her to come up. The next category is our photography contest, and third place goes to Brianna Rangel. And second place in the photography contest goes to Morgan Walter Allen. And first place goes to Iris Ibarra. And our next category is the Editorial Contest. And I'll announce the winners, and then at the end, we're going to have the first place winner come up and read her essay. So third place is Emily Horton. Second place is Chase Loulette. And our first place winner is Veronica Knoll. Okay. Congratulations to all the winners, and at this time, I'll have Veronica read her essay.
Thank you. Okay. This essay is called Make a Difference. Why were the 13 colonies so passionate and determined to escape the rule of Great Britain? What was so precious and valuable to these colonists that thousands of them would lay down their lives during the American Revolution in order to obtain it? They wanted what we take for granted on a daily basis: freedom, independence, and the right to have each of their own voices heard. They wanted a say in how things were run. They wanted a vote. Many Americans forget that it wasn't long ago that the right to free speech we have today wasn't a right at all. Can you imagine just how badly you want to have a say in things if it wasn't allowed? That's the problem today. People have begun to have a lack of care and passion about voting because they take the right for granted. Immigrants from Cuba who've lived under the oppressive communist rule of Fidel Castro know what it's like to live without these rights and freedoms. Just like our ancestors, these immigrants know that what we have here in America is special, and they too are willing to risk their lives just for the possibility of obtaining it, the freedom to speak your opinion and use it to vote. With the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the 15th Amendment ratified in 1870, the 19th Amendment ratified in 1920, and the 26th Amendment in 1971, just about every citizen of the United States has the right to vote. Now, if we were to momentarily put ourselves in the shoes of African Americans being beaten and thrown in jail for participating in civil disobedience, or women being laughed at and criticized for rallying together, all simply trying to obtain the right of suffrage, more people might treasure the priceless freedoms that are taken for granted. There are some Americans who acknowledge they have an opinion, yet feel that their vote is one out of millions and will make no difference. If everyone realized just how much each of their individual votes matter, together the American people would be an indestructible force of nature. In 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution had to be ratified by 36 states in order to be adopted. In Tennessee, the decision came down to a state legislature named Harry Byrne, who had previously said he would vote against suffrage. He wound up casting the 49th and deciding vote. The decision on whether women should be allowed to vote or not came down to one vote in Tennessee. So how different would history be had Harry Byrne not thought his one vote mattered? In the end, my vote may count as just one actual vote, but combine that vote with hundreds of thousands of other voters that share the same values and passions as me, and you have yourself a force to be reckoned with. Don't ever think your vote holds no power or importance, because, contrary to popular belief, it does.
Thank you, Veronica. I think that's the best one of those I've ever heard. That was really spectacular. Okay, now I need to take a poll. Is there anybody here who likes to eat lunch? Is there anybody here who likes hamburgers and hot dogs? Okay, now this one I think will go the other way. Anybody here who likes ice cream sundaes? Oh, okay. All right. I know this guy right there behind Veronica. Veronica, look around. That guy behind you, he'll eat anything that doesn't eat him first. So what? All right. Well, thank you all for coming. This was really great. So now it's time to have some real fun. So if you'll go out, lunch is out there waiting, and then remember to congregate at the front door at 12:30 so you can go see the courtrooms. Thank you.